I'm Sean Donovan,
I'm Trevor Sorek.
and welcome to The Fine Cut. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing the new film that has been released in theaters by Disney, Haunted Mansion. And then we're also going to be talking about a film that we kind of didn't really cover last week. Because
Got lost in the shuffle.
Got very lost in the shuffle because of Barbenheimer. But it is Netflix's They Cloned Tyrone. So, yeah, let's just, how's it been, Trevor?
It's been a crazy week for sure.
It really has. Barbenheimer, that's still kind of trucking along.
The second weekend, man, it's still doing numbers.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is. I kind of wanted to bring that up first. That Barbenheimer has been doing a really good in the box office. We're recording this episode a day late, honestly, because we didn't have time to go see Haunted Mansion, but we saw it last night. So we couldn't record. But kind of gives us the numbers for the weekend, though.
Yeah.
So, worldwide, how much do you want to say Barbie has made?
Well, let's see.
Giving you I want to get you your
totally
guess.
just a random educated
I
guess
told you
here.
a few minutes ago. I want to just see if you remember.
No, I don't. So it was 700 million domestic, right?
It was domestic is 351.
Oh,
and worldwide is $774.5 million.
dang.
It had a weekend drop off of 42.6%.
That sounds like a lot, but it's not.
It is not. It went from 162 mil to 93 mil.
Mm-hmm.
So it still almost made $100 million again this weekend. So,
you know what movie didn't do that?
Haunted Mansion.
Well, probably Haunted Mansion, but
Yes.
also Morbius.
Okay.
We're just gonna dunk on that randomly.
Yeah. Well, it also is kind of that. I will say, if we want to dunk, if Barbie's dunking on a lot of movies, and I think a big one that I'm kind of a little heartbroken over is that it's dunking real hard on Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
Like I said in
was
the previous episode, it's my favorite in the franchise. So.
Exactly. Well, it's number 5 at the box office this
Tom
weekend.
Cruise in shambles.
It is so just, oh man, it took a hit. Sound of Freedom came in at number 4, above it. That's how bad it's kind of taken a hit.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Haunted Mansion was at number 3, and number 2, of course, was Oppenheimer. And I also told you the Oppenheimer's worldwide gross. I want to see if you remember that one.
400 million.
Yes, the worldwide was 400 million. It went down 44%.
Again, not a lot.
Not a lot.
It sounds like a big. Look, that's almost half.
That's exactly.
No, that's a small number when you're talking about second.
It
weekend
opened to
movies.
82 million, or 82.4 million, and this week it made 46.2 million. So it's still there. It's still making money.
And that's for a 3-hour-long movie.
Exactly.
Those usually don't do well.
No. Well, we can look at what was, just thinking of 3-hour-long epics. I want to see what Babylon's was. Babylon.
Well, I don't think, did that really have a good opening weekend?
It opened Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, of course it opened against Avatar. Kind of, we're not really.
Well, that's a 3-hour movie.
That is, but I didn't like it that much. But
Whoa.
Yeah, hot take. But I mean, Avatar came out. It was number 2. I want to say it was its second week. Yeah, so it was its second week. But Babylon only made, in its worldwide total, it made 63 million. So it made less.
Puts it in perspective.
Exactly.
A little bit.
It made less than what Barbie did this weekend alone. So
that's blowing my mind a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, that just means that,
I mean,
Barbenheimer's still trucking along. I think this is going to be still
rip all movie theater employees across the country.
Really, our hearts go out to you because we know the pain and the suffering that has come with Barbenheimer. But I mean, a lot of people in the industry are saying that this is a win. So when our last episode, when I asked, is movies fully back, I think a lot of people are pointing yes. Because
they would say that, and ironically,
Ironically,
Ironically.
a lot of things got pushed back this week as well. So
The movies are back, but where are they going?
yeah. Well, of course, WGA and the Screen Actors or SAG-AFTRA is on strike right now, and I also wanted to bring up to you some movies that got delayed. So the first big one was that I think it was 2 days ago came out that Kraven the Hunter got pushed back.
Oh no, not Kraven the Hunter.
Yes, Kraven the Hunter. But it was an odd one because it got pushed back a pretty decent amount of time. So originally it was supposed to come out in October, and now it's being released in August of 2024. So
it makes you wonder why. Like, I get the whole the stuff going on in Hollywood, but also it's like they're sitting there like, man, we gotta redo this whole thing, boys. This is not.
The thing that kind of baffles my mind is that I think it would have won October. Like, it would have been the highest grossing movie of October, I feel.
There's a weird assortment of movies in October.
Well, so far, what it was originally was Kraven the Hunter. Was going to come out on the 6th. Then David Gordon Green's Exorcist, beginning of the Exorcist trilogy that he's going to start.
That's probably going to end up doing well now.
I feel like that one might. I feel like it might be the best. But that was going to be coming out on the 13th, along with Priscilla, Sofia Coppola's new Elvis movie, based on there's a fly in here. Based on Priscilla Presley's book. Then there's Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon.
Excited for that one.
I'm excited for that one as well, and that would have come out on the 20th, and then the 27th would have been Saw and Five Nights at Freddy's.
Do you think Five Nights at Freddy's will win the month of October now?
I don't know, honestly, about Five Nights at Freddy's because, like, Saw X might come out as on top, but, like, that's also, they both have 4 days in October, so Exorcist might just become the top, but I definitely think that Kraven and the Hunter would have taken it. But
our boy Martin Scorsese, he doesn't have to compete against one of those superhero movies.
Even like Killers of the Flower Moon, I don't even think would have made like a lot of money, in all honesty,
it's
at
a
the box
drama.
office. Yeah. Like, it's definitely going to be an awards movie, but definitely not going to make the box office.
It's going to win my awards.
Oh, definitely. But, like, so that was pushed back, was Kraven the Hunter to August of next year. The other big one that kind of got hit was Spider-Verse. So a few days ago, Sony announced that Spider-Verse 2, or not Spider-Verse 2, Spider-Verse 3, Beyond the Spider-Verse, has been delayed indefinitely. So it has no release date. We don't know when it's coming out.
That's probably the best for that one because,
Yeah, well, like, there was, like, some other stuff behind the scenes that people said that it wasn't going to come out and, like, or it wasn't going to come out on time, or it was going to be, it was inevitably going to be delayed. So I think that's where we're kind of sitting at. But then also some of the production team was like, they're kind of being dicks to us. So
it's like, guys, we need some time here to make it look good.
So that's probably one of the biggest hits. Then there's like smaller hits like Ghostbusters Afterlife 2 got delayed to March.
Did we mention Dune Part 2 already?
No, we haven't. That is Dune Part 2. It's not officially, but Warner Brothers is considering a move.
I really want to see that one. If they delay it super long, I'll be sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Dune Part 2 would have been, like we mentioned in the first episode that we did. It's a very back-heavy year, so a lot of people saying like, oh, removing these, it's very not frightening, but it's very kind of scary because anything could move.
Ooh, spooky.
We're not at Haunted Mansion yet.
Well, I'm setting the mood.
You're setting
for
the
later.
mood, the tone of the pod.
Spooky. We were talking about October too.
That is true. Yeah, that is okay. Fair.
It's relevant.
But I mean, like Doom Part 2 would if it moves is going to be a very, very big blow.
What's gonna fill the void?
Probably the Marvels. That's what would fill the void. But also, Doom Part 2 just got added. Like, it's gonna be in IMAX theaters for like 6 weeks, I think.
Ooh.
Oppenheimer just got it extended 1 week, and it was originally at 3. So Doom Part 2 is people are banking on Doom Part 2.
Yeah.
The Marvels isn't even going to be in IMAX because of Doom Part 2, but yeah, I think the Marvels would fill that void. We also have Hunger Games coming out in November. Trolls.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, Trolls. The next goal wins. New Taika Waititi movie.
Poor Things.
Poor Things got moved. That's another one. Poor Things got moved to December. That originally was supposed to come out in September, and it got moved 3 months. So I'm a little upset about that. But it is, though, still going to be at Venice, I think, is where it is. Yes. So.
And will you be in Venice, Sean?
I won't be in Venice, sadly,
Man.
which I'm very upset with.
That's so unexpected.
Yeah, sorry. Darn, I can't just pick up everything and move to Venice.
You might
go to Venice for
you might go to TIFF though.
I'm planning on going to TIFF, and that's another thing
that's
that was
Toronto.
Toronto International Film Festival, but they also both Venice and TIFF announced their lineups with all these delays. They announced them.
Their lineups are being held together by duct tape and.
Surprisingly not. Actually, no, which is odd.
Really?
Because a lot of the movies that are
like they were already done before the strike happened.
I think a lot. So Venice and TIFF, they announced their releases, and that's another thing. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about this week. Or talk about with you, is that they released a decent amount of lineups, and a lot of movies that are coming out they're going to be good. Because Venice, Damien Chazelle is going to be the president of the jury, which was announced. But we have some of the big heavy hitters that are going to Venice. Will be Dogman, a new film by Luc Besson, which I think we mentioned or either on or off.
I feel like we didn't, but
I don't think we mentioned it on the pod, but we definitely were talking about it like either after or before. But that is one. I do know I have it on the list here. I thought at least. Where's Dogman?
So there it is. You said Damien Chazelle is the what of the what now?
The president. He's going to be the president.
What is, for a layman like me, what does that mean?
Pretty much, so all these film festivals have juries to decide like their top prizes.
So what is it, like a court case?
It's basically the president is the head of the jury. Is the head, like he announces everything. Like Spike Lee was the president of the Cannes Film Festival jury like 3 years ago.
Okay.
And they kind of it's weird, but Dogman is going to be at Venice.
Well, that didn't answer my question, but okay.
It's basically the head of the jury. He announced
the head honcho. They call the shots.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a very prestigious title. That's pretty much it.
I've never thought about it before, so.
Yeah, well,
that's interesting.
But yeah, Dogman. I just want to talk about the Dogman, man. Come on, please.
It's an interesting title.
It's about a boy who is bruised by life, finds salvation through the love of dogs, the love of his dogs.
And then he becomes one, right?
No.
Oh.
That is not. That's Night Bitch.
Yeah, that's a different movie.
That's the one you were like very heavily like for. But that is starring Caleb Laundrie Jones, which if you don't know he was in like he was the brother in Get Out. He was
is his last name really Laundrie Jones or is it Landry?
Might be Landry.
It's like laundry.
I don't know. Landry. It might be Landry. Okay. But that's coming to Venice, as well as Maestro, new Bradley Cooper's movie. Bradley Cooper's new movie's coming. His about not Sondheim. It's about
Maestro.
It's about Leonard Bernstein. This stars Bradley Cooper, Carey Mulligan, Maya Hawke, and Sarah Silverman. So
okay.
kind of got a good cast there.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we have Priscilla. David Fincher's new film, The Killer, will also be coming to Venice. Rasuke Hamaguchi, who was nominated for Best Director 2 years ago for Drive My Car. He has a new movie called Evil Does Not Exist coming out.
I need to see Drive My Car still.
Drive My Car
forgot about that
is
one.
a slow but really hard-hitting movie.
I like a good slow burn.
It is a good slow burn. But yeah, Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos' film. It's coming out. Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo. Michael Mann's Ferrari. Do you know about Ferrari? It's
it's a car company. Duh.
Yeah, but do you know the movie?
Yeah, they have a battle with Ford and
No.
Oh, that's
No,
a different movie.
Different one.
Oh.
This is a movie about Enzo Ferrari,
the man himself.
The man himself.
In like the same vein as like House of Gucci.
Probably. It does star Adam Driver.
Oh,
and
what a weird. They're all connected.
It stars Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, Shailene Woodley, and Patrick Dempsey. That will be coming to Venice as well. And some other ones that are coming are Coup de Chance. It's a new Woody Allen film. William Friedkin has The Kane Mutiny Court Martial.
You're just saying a bunch of words. I don't know.
I'm just reading off the list, but The Palace by Roman Polanski is going to be there as well.
Okay.
But two big ones that I saw here is Hitman, which is a new Richard Linklater film.
Nothing to do with the video game?
No.
No. Okay.
That's going to star Glenn Powell, but I like Richard Linklater, and I'm very excited. I also like Glenn Powell. We might do a Richard Linklater pod when that comes out. Because I would love to watch. I'd love to rewatch some of his stuff.
Yeah, I'll have
School
to do
of Rock.
Okay.
Amazing film. The Before movies. Haven't seen them. That's a that's a take that people probably are going to be mad at me for. But I will watch them eventually. But he has a new movie coming out. And the one that kind of is really interesting, that's playing out of competition, is a new Wes Anderson movie.
A new one?
A new one. It's called The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. That is playing there. So that's probably when we're gonna do our. That's probably when we're gonna do our Wes Anderson pod. But
yeah, we've had Wes Anderson
on our mind. It's been on our mind.
Yeah,
but
so look out for that.
That's kind of the big hitters at Venice that's coming out, and then TIFF, they announced Dumb Money, the new GameStop stock movie that will be premiering there. That will have its world premiere. Movie I watched on Sundance. I purchased an online ticket for Sundance called Fair Play. That will be coming to TIFF as well. That's a really good movie. I will definitely hold my thoughts until we talk about it. That's coming to Netflix, by the way.
Nice. I like that because it's easy access.
So Taika Waititi's next goal wins. Will have its world premiere there. There's also looks like a documentary called Hate to Love Nickelback. It's gonna be like a Nickelback documentary.
Hate to Love. Wow,
yeah,
that's what the world needed, a movie about Nickelback.
Hey, I'll watch it. I would watch it.
Look at this movie. It's not a photograph. It's a movie.
Look at this moving picture.
Yeah.
Then we have the Palme d'Or winner from Cannes, Anatomy of a Fall, will also be there. Yeah, there's pretty much Hitman will also be there.
So what you're saying is there's still a lot of content despite the strike. Okay.
Yes. So I'm very interested to see if these kind of still keep going.
Because are those gonna have theatrical runs though? Or are they just gonna stick to the festivals?
I think they will have theatrical runs, but some of these are, they're being delayed.
So, I mean, if there's going to be a little bit of a void, maybe some of these will get, pushed into theaters earlier or something.
Maybe. I don't know, but TIFF announced some other things. The Holdovers, Alexander Payne, Paul Giamatti. We saw the trailer for that.
A lot of people have seen the trailer for that because it was part of the
Oppenheimer
trailer package.
But yeah, there's some good ones. Zone of Interest, I'm looking forward to as well. But yeah, TIFF, just some new announcements. And then they also announced that the new Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli film will be there. The Boy and the Heron is what it's called in America, but it's called in Japan. It's already had its Japan premiere, and it's called How Do You Live in Japan. And I like that title a lot more.
That title sounds way better.
Yes, it sounds
sure.
a lot.
I think we said that before at some point.
I feel like we have.
We gotta retread ground when it's true.
Yeah,
you know, things you've seen before. Ooh,
what?
Oh, that's a connecting thread into the
next one.
Into
Haunted Mansion talk.
No,
going or what?
They cloned Tyrone.
Oh yes,
there's clones.
There is clones, and they
more
clone
than
Tyrone.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, why don't we just
seamless transition?
Sure. Yes, that is definitely don't listen to me messing up and thinking we're talking about Haunted Mansion, but yeah, we can go into they clone Tyrone.
We'll talk about Haunted Mansion
right after this,
after
but
that.
it'll be fine. But yeah, no, they clone Tyrone. What? We might as well just go right into it.
Yes.
So we picked this movie because a friend of ours really wanted to see this, and we're gonna have them on, but still stuck at work. So
we'll have guests.
We're gonna have guests
eventually. We promise.
We promise.
Get some other perspectives.
Yes,
it's always good.
Think we have a guest. We have a guest that will. I feel like they would.
Don't say anything with any certainty at this point.
Yeah, that's true. We're trying to get a guest for next week. But yeah, they clone Tyrone. It's a new Netflix film. It stars John Boyega.
Yep.
Jamie Foxx and Tiana Paris, who I did not realize was in WandaVision until I looked it up and made sure that she was the actual person.
Her face does look familiar now that you say that.
She was in WandaVision, and she's in the upcoming Marvels movie.
Okay. So, I didn't realize that was her, but
yeah,
all right.
So it stars John Boyega, Tiana Paris, Jamie Foxx, and Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes, Kiefer.
Yes. We're not going to get into... I don't think we should get into spoilers right away, so we're not going to talk about Kiefer Sutherland just yet. But the synopsis of this film is a series of eerie events thrust an unlikely trio onto the trail of a nefarious government conspiracy lurking directly beneath their neighborhood.
Pretty run-of-the-mill.
Pretty run-of-the-mill, but it was pretty fun. So I enjoyed
it.
The
synopsis sells it a little short, honestly.
Yeah.
It gets kind of crazy.
But
so
I enjoyed it. What did you think?
So I'd say it's like a very good Black Mirror episode-esque type thing.
Okay.
Also, that thing you just said with the synopsis, like being underground, kind of reminds me of Stranger Things.
Oh, I never even thought of that. Actually,
that's a pretty good connection.
Yeah.
I think I just made, especially because they have like some purple lighting in there too.
It had some really good lighting in there, but
yeah,
I never really thought.
Reminds
about
me of Stranger Things a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I was more like taken back by the kind of it being a very well done like homage to a lot of 70s blaxploitation films like Shaft and Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, which I've enjoyed. Some of the blaxploitation films I've seen I've enjoyed. So seeing this I was like I've liked the previous or the things that have come before this, so I enjoyed it. I thought it was very, like, for a Netflix movie, it's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, so Netflix definitely is a quantity over quality kind of operation they got going on there. So it's good to see a movie like this where they, there's some thought going into what's happening on screen and all that. Yeah, I mean the three main leads really worked well together. I think it was funny.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about a lot of movies that like these were the three main leads. A lot of movies I've seen, and even Haunted Mansion, like Haunted Mansion had 6 kind of main leads.
Yeah.
And their chemistry, for me, some of them worked, some of them didn't. But the 3, Jamie Foxx, Tiana Paris, and John Boyega, they all worked really well together. I thought their performances they played off each other well. And like even what was it? Even when they're split up, like later in the film, like they like on their own they work really well. So I thought that was like a definite like thumbs up for me on acting.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree. 'Cause like if they were not good, then this movie would be really boring, I think. But they carry it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I also like another thing that I enjoyed of this is like the weird like it made it look like it's like a film, like it was shot on film with like the grain that was in it. Did you see that?
I didn't notice that.
I noticed it, and I like that.
I was watching it on a smaller screen, so maybe maybe that was.
Yeah, I was watching it on a TV, but like, and that even reminded me more about the blaxploitation films that that inspired it.
It's interesting because throwing back to those kinds of movies, but also like They Clone Tyrone. It's really hard to place like what time period they're even going for.
Yeah,
but like that's on purpose, I think.
Yeah.
So they have like cell phones and stuff, but they reference. Cell phones, but like flip phones.
Mm-hmm.
So no like iPhones or anything. But then they're also referencing pretty recent stuff. So it gets kind of like where and when is this?
Well, like like in the first like 5 minutes they reference SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
Which like I was like, that's another thing that I liked about it, that I noticed that kind of translates from the blaxploitation era, was that it referenced a lot of like timely things. And so that SpongeBob reference, I was like, in that first 5 minutes, I was like, okay, I see where you're going for, and I'm gonna, kind of buckle up and sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, but like it being kind of hard to place when and where kind of lets you know that something weird is going on. That's kind of your first hint.
Well, would it be? I don't know if it would technically be Afrofuturism, because that's
what does that term mean?
Afrofuturism. It's So let me pull up textbook definition of Afrofuturism, but but like a good example of Afrofuturism would be Black Panther, where it kind of had this milk. Did not mean to say milk.
Whoa, where'd that come from?
Kind of this mix of futuristic sci-fi, with like Black history and Black culture, and that's that. I looked up the dictionary. I cannot speak today. Dictionary definition of Afrofuturism. And it says a movement in literature, music, art, etc., featuring futuristic or science fiction themes, which incorporate elements of Black history or culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if it would be considered that, because a lot of the sci-fi stuff kind of is controlled by the white people of the movie.
Yeah,
but it definitely kind of gave me that feeling.
Well, there's some twists to it too. I think we can go into some
we can go into spoiler territory, I think.
So basically, what happens throughout the film is, they kind of figure out slowly. I guess the big hint was that John Boyega gets murdered
within like the first 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, and then he's back the next day like nothing happened. But then Jamie Foxx is able to like remember the previous day. He's like, "Hey, didn't you die yesterday?"
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big hint that something was happening. And eventually they find out that they are cloning people down in their labs below the little town. The hood.
It's Glen. That's all they.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what they call it.
I'm assuming it's Glenwood, because I think Glenwood is a place.
They don't actually say where it is, but they call it like the Glen in the movie.
Yeah, they call it Glen.
So it turns out the government is
okay.
Like,
yeah, it's definitely not Glenwood. There's a Glenwood in Alabama.
Okay,
like
that would almost make sense as a setting. So the government is cloning people and controlling them through products with special chemicals.
Yeah.
And
basically like mind control.
yeah. So you can see where it's going. It's like a satire, like you see how the government is controlling people, especially like minorities, and like what they consume, what they read about, watch on television, that kind of thing. But also I'm just sitting there like, is this even satire or is this just reality?
Yeah, it definitely has that feeling. I mean,
because like that's just real life that's happening.
Yeah. Well, like the main reason why they're doing it is because I think Kiefer Sutherland's character Nixon.
His name is Nixon.
His name is Nixon, yeah. Which is whole like it's okay, I get what you're doing there. But he says like, if we got rid of you guys to do these like experiments, there would be 3 Starbucks here by like Thursday. And so like it kind of like you bring up like it's kind of reality. It's like, yeah, those kind of lower income neighborhoods are being definitely used by the government. Like it looks like they're being ignored, but you never know, kind of thing. And I think that was another thing that was like I was like, oh, it does make sense, like why would you be using it, and had a kind of a nice tie-in with the story.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. government is literally like, go look it up. There's some declassified stuff out there. In real life, they put LSD in an entire town's water supply.
Didn't they?
Didn't they Idaho or something?
Didn't they?
Just to see
like
what it would
sterilize a whole like.
Yeah.
They sterilized like a whole neighborhood or something.
Yeah,
like
and that happened in like the Deep South too. So that targeted.
Man, this podcast is really like turned into like a
history is tied with cinema.
Yeah,
it's
but
important. Yeah,
the conspiracy theory, guys.
Well, the thing you just mentioned about like the sterilization of some people, that happened in the Deep South, so that affected mostly minorities. So it's like they clone Tyrone is definitely bringing some attention to those kind of things that it happened
and that's
in real life,
and that's going
which
back
is
to the whole
like great.
Going back to the whole like this reminded me of blaxploitation films. Like that's what would happen with like blaxploitation films of the 70s. Like what was it? I think it was Shaft. Or it was Foxy Brown, I think. Like one of her siblings were like killed by heroin, and so she's trying to, and the police are doing nothing, so she's going out and being a vigilante to basically get these people who like gave that stuff to her sibling, which then led to the death. So it definitely had those tie-ins to modern, or not modern, but more recent events within history. So
yeah,
like this.
So I mean, it hits close to home. That's why I said it felt like a Black Mirror episode, because it feels pretty relevant, and it same kind of style where there's like a sci-fi element thrown in. They're like literally cloning people. It's like I hope the U.S. government's not there yet. Where they just clone people, but because like if they could, I wouldn't be surprised if this exact thing is happening. Honestly.
Yeah.
And then like so in the movie you see like they kind of control how people feel, like their feelings.
That scene with Nixon basically telling John Boyega's character, what's his name? I just watched it. What is his name?
Fontaine.
Fontaine.
Yeah.
Where he's like telling Fontaine to like point the gun at Yo-Yo.
I mean that's a little literal. Yeah. Like I was saying how like they use like the chemicals, they put it in like the fried chicken that they eat, and it like makes them feel like happy.
Oh yeah.
And then like they put stuff in, the hair,
even that then it's
hair
like
cream and stuff.
It almost feels like that's another like whole other thing of being like the government's like stereotyping too, because like they put it in fried chicken, they put it in their grape soda. Is it grape soda? Yeah, they put it in like grape soda. They put it in hair cream. It's like it almost is like the government looking at it and being like, you know what, like playing into stereotypes, which adds to the whole like
the three people who are
theme of the
living
film.
under a rock thinking that the government doesn't do those types of things might see this movie and be like, oh, like
Yeah,
they get it
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Like, so, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely a good thing.
Yeah.
You need to bring some attention to these things.
Yeah, I do want to bring up the twist and the ending.
Yeah, so
'Cause
I have some thoughts about that because I feel like it's
yeah,
a
I knew
really
you had some
interesting
stuff about the twist. I want to talk about the ending too.
twist to have in there.
Which twist are you talking about?
So,
is my question.
oh, okay, I'll do mine. So, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it.
We're already in spoiler territory.
I know.
But
I just like to reemphasize that. So, Fontaine, we find out is a clone himself, obviously.
yes.
So, they infiltrate the secret underground lab, and he finds his way to the head honcho, and the head honcho is like the OG version of him.
Yes,
Like,
it's old. I think he's credited as older Fontaine.
yeah, older Fontaine. So it's in his whole take was that by cloning people, running this experiment, having the control over the Glen, this like basically assimilating their culture into like, the rest of like white America was better than outright destruction of their culture. Like assimilating, you still get I don't know, some aspects of your culture in there, but I just felt like that, like, because the connecting thread there was that Fontaine's younger brother had died from police violence. I don't think they outright said in the movie.
I think it was. I'm not 100% sure.
So I want to say it was like police violence.
I thought it was gang violence.
Or gang violence, or
like
I think there was an element of like the police being involved.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I think it's gang violence is because like he said they shot him in between his ribs and just left him there to die.
Oh, and then the police officer didn't like get an ambulance right away.
Yeah. So it says the racially. Oh wait, hold on. No, it was by police. It said.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it says the racially motivated murders of Fontaine's little brother by a police officer prompted him to start making clothes.
So older Fontaine's take is like, if the only way to like beat racism basically is to assimilate into like one culture, like one, unified kind of, thing going on. So like, there's no racism that way. Like his younger brother wouldn't have died. And I was like, I mean, I get where he's coming from, I guess, but that is very defeatist attitude to have. Like, you don't.
Well,
like,
I mean, like I look at it and I go, well, it kind of almost works in the favor though of like there's two ideals.
Well, he is presented as like the bad guy.
Yes.
So there is that. So like obviously, younger Fontaine doesn't agree with him. He works against him, and that's what the movie wants you to see. But just like it's an interesting twist, I guess, because it gets you to think about it. But no way is assimilation better than just like fighting for things you believe in and losing, right?
Yeah, that twist though, I didn't really mind, in all honesty.
I just thought it was weird because you follow Fontaine throughout the movie, and what you're presented with, you don't come away with him like you thinking that he would do that or have that kind of take.
But I mean,
he is a clone.
That's the thing though.
So maybe he has free will.
He said that he was older Fontaine says that he wanted to keep the memory of just the little brother, nothing else.
Yeah.
So because
they can curate what memories the clones have.
So that's why I wasn't too bothered with it. Like, oh, Fontaine wouldn't have done that. Well, like, he only had the idea of his little brother in his head. That's like the only real thing that he had. He didn't actually have the backstory or what happened afterwards. So, but the thing that the twist that I was kind of more like, oh, okay, was basically why the movie is named They Clone Tyrone.
Yeah, so like no one is named Tyrone.
Yeah.
You're like, who's Tyrone? And
then
I guess he's
end,
the original guy they cloned, right? But then it's Fontaine still.
Exactly. But I mean, it does make sense as like, oh, it shows that it's a bigger. Basically, what happens at the end is that they cut to the title, they clone Tyrone, and then it cuts back to John Boyega waking up. But he has a different hairstyle.
Different John Boyega.
And a different thing. And you hear his mom again, which we already know, by the way, earlier in the movie, it's shown that his mom's not actually real. It's a recording. And then it's in, like, Los Angeles.
Yeah. So it's happening all over the country.
Yeah, it's happening all over the country.
What it's implying.
So I was like, that's odd, especially since they gave the Fontaine name to this guy, but they called the other guy Tyrone. I was just so I was like, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
there's some confusing elements to the movie.
Yeah,
no doubt.
But I mean, it's still fun. I still think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it presents some interesting questions for sure. Like, the whole deal with like clones, like not ethical. I think most people would agree.
Mm-hmm.
The way the government in real life does really control people and what they think, act, feel, even. Like they had examples of like music, making you feel a certain way, and like what's in your food, and like all that stuff is just true. That's just accurate. So I feel like when you presenting that as like satire is like, well, it doesn't really land for me because like I already kind of knew, like, felt that way.
You're on the like conspiracy theory.
Well,
right?
It's not a conspiracy if it's true.
Well, you're telling me about it. I'm just joking.
I do have some hot takes, perhaps, but
no, I'm just joking.
I mean, things like that are basically proven, but it's exaggerated. In the
Should I just leave and this become a Joe Rogan podcast now? We're switching it up.
That's fine with me.
You're gonna be the next Joe Rogan?
No. Point is, the movie was a good time. I thought it was funny. Jamie Foxx and
I thought like
Tiana Paris were pretty funny in this.
They were
movie.
really funny.
John Boyega was like the straight man. He was like very serious.
But even then, he had some funny moments where like he gets called Squidward.
Yeah, he gets called Squidward.
And then he's like, "I'm not Squidward." It's
yeah. I love the part where they're first infiltrating how to get into this lab, and it's just some random crack house or whatever. And then there's like an elevator and a break room in there.
Oh yeah, with like the cold. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny to me.
I mean, of course, this isn't like a perfect movie in my opinion. Like there's some jokes that fall flat for me, but other than that, I thought there was some pretty good sight gags as well.
Oh yeah.
Like all the people working in like the establishments that are controlling, they're just white dudes with afros.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, that reminded me of. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of like a random. It's hard to explain because it was like a 4chan thing. It's a
okay, buddy.
Like,
all right. Okay.
Do you know like the pools closed?
Q, is that where?
No. Like the pools closed meme from like that one game, where people would use their little avatars to like stand around the pool, so like the other people couldn't go in the swimming pool.
Oh, The Sims?
It wasn't The Sims. It was a computer.
I don't know, but
it's
anyways.
a deep reference because like they would dress their character a certain way.
Okay. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Random thought there. One person will get that. It's
just
fine.
The one person like sitting here listening, just be like, yeah, I know that. Like,
if you saw what I was talking about, you would get it. But
yeah, you'll have to show me after.
Yeah, I will.
So, but yeah, no, this is it's pretty good. Go watch it on Netflix. It's out there now.
Yeah, and so like just the connecting thread between this and Haunted Mansion is that they're kind of like horror comedies. I guess
I wouldn't even consider Clone Tyrone honestly a horror comedy. It's a comedy.
It's a sci-fi
comedy. There's a lot of less horror elements. It's a very loose connection.
Very loose horror.
Connection. Loose.
Scary ideas, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
Presented in a satirical, funny way.
Yeah, but one's good and one is not so good in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I'll explain why.
Okay.
But yeah, the next we might as well go into it.
Yeah.
It's we're going to talk about Haunted Mansion. It was released in theaters this week. I think I already said that it made like 33 million this weekend, but it's the new Disney movie based on the ride. It stars Owen Wilson. Or actually, no, hold on. It stars Rosario Dawson, Chase W. Dillon, Lakeith Stanfield, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito, Jamie Lee Curtis, Winona Ryder, Dan Levy, and Jared Leto.
Yeah.
And
that's quite the names.
Yeah, we saw this last night, and I have some thoughts. But
hit me with it. What? Oh,
before I go in, what do you think?
So this is
What's
a
your
really
thoughts?
good advertisement to visit this great state of Louisiana, in New Orleans in particular.
Specifically New Orleans, yeah.
I really want to go to New Orleans now. Looks cool. That's my take.
Yeah.
I want to go. The movie really pokes fun at like these haunted tours.
Ghost tours, yeah.
Like, it's really grilling them. Like look how boring these haunted like site tours are, and like, dang man, someone just hates fun. Someone went on a haunted ghost tour and didn't have a good time.
Whenever I see ghost tours, or whenever I think of ghost tours now, I think of the "I Think You Should Leave" sketch. Have you seen? I know you've watched some, but he's on the ghost tour and he's.
Oh
just like,
yeah. I know. Okay, I know what you're talking
it's
about.
It's adult, so we can say things like, we can swear.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
do the ghosts do this or that?
I'm not trying to be funny, but does the ghost come in here? Like, that's immediately what I think of now.
No, that's yeah. And someone's like, "What are you talking about?"
What? You gotta stop.
Yeah, no. So like, I totally dig that. Like that was like one of the things that kind of reappear a couple times throughout the movie. I was like, I dig that. I like dunking on ghost tours because ghosts aren't real. But
you're gonna be haunted now.
I'll die on that hill.
You're like
just
you're like some
what's
of these
his name?
characters.
Crump. Did he die?
Crump? Yes.
Yeah, Crump, not Trump.
Yeah.
Crump. That's the bad guy's name.
Yeah. So, time to dunk on this movie. I want to start with the characters.
Okay.
There's, to me, different tiers.
Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield was like the main guy.
Lakeith is definitely
he did great.
The main one. He did great. Rosario Dawson, I thought, was a very well, like, kind of second lead.
Mm-hmm.
Them two are in the, like, if we were doing a tier list, they're in A tier.
Okay.
Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito are in B tier.
Yeah, put him in B, yeah.
Yes, Tiffany Haddish, kind of low C.
You didn't like Tiffany Haddish?
I didn't like, well, because she just doesn't, like, Tiffany Haddish's character, she has a part, but I think we could have taken her out and just made it Jamie Lee Curtis's role.
Yeah, they kind of have like similar.
Yeah, it's like having two superheroes that have the same powers on the same team.
Yeah,
it's like, oh well, it's like having, what's two characters that are like the same? We're two strong men. Like, we're gonna mix the universes. It's like having Quicksilver and the Flash.
Yeah.
On like a team of 5.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need 2 speedsters. So
better than one. I don't know.
Yeah, but even
okay. Jamie Lee Curtis was trapped in a crystal ball. She was limited. Okay?
Yeah, but like I feel like she could have been limited and then at the end come out of the ball like.
It'll cost you $3.
That was such a dumb joke. Yeah.
It was in the trailer.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the trailer. And then Jared Leto's in this, but
he's totally unrecognizable.
He's not even in it. I don't even think he was in it.
He just did voice.
He's credited probably as a voice.
The voice you can't recognize as Jared Leto's.
You can't recognize that the voice of Jared Leto.
The character is entirely CGI.
He looks like his Morbius character in the vampire
The
makeup.
CGI character does kind of look like Morbius. So what?
I just there's yeah. This kind of is going more into the story. But like his character just kind of just didn't work.
So his whole character was like he's evil just for no reason, basically. So like he finds some black magic that allows him to maintain his wealth or something, and he has to like murder people for it. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like this
cool.
Yeah, the story basically we can go into the story now. Story basically is that Rosario Dawson and her son, which actually played by her son played by Chase W. Dillon.
There you go. Yeah, he did good.
Pretty good.
He's a good child actor.
It's a good child actor performance.
Yeah.
But
how old is he in real life? Because he ain't 9.
He's definitely not 9. That was another big thing that I was like, that kid is.
He's supposed
not
to be 9.
He is not 9. His.
Watch him be like 36. Like,
it
what?
Doesn't say anything here.
I feel like he's got to be older than 9.
I'll look it up. But while I'm looking it up, basically her son and her move into the haunted mansion, and they call Lakeith Stanfield, who does like the haunted tours, but has also created a quantum camera.
Yeah, so I guess this quantum camera didn't take off, and then he resorted to doing something he hates. So I don't really. That was interesting.
Yeah, but at the same time, okay, he's 13 in real life.
Yeah,
he's 13.
There you go.
But yeah, like I mean, it makes sense why he did the tour guide, because that's what his wife did.
Not really. You wouldn't just randomly pick up your spouse's job.
I mean, he also said that he was discredited. He also said that he was like discredited by.
Right.
So I mean,
because he's got a thing that supposedly takes pictures of ghosts. So like, who would believe that?
I don't know. The world's crazy though.
But then he doesn't believe in ghosts, so it's kind of confusing.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a grifter movie, because I mean, Owen Wilson, also is a priest. And spoiler alert,
he's not a priest.
He's not a priest. It's he's more of a grifter con man.
Yeah.
And then but
Tiffany Haddish's character is a medium, but there's a couple of times where they're like,
she's not actually a medium, but then she is.
And she's like, oh, I didn't think that would work, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's but when I finish this, I'm gonna say why. I'm gonna expand on why I think her character didn't work. But then they also call in a historian, college professor played by Danny DeVito.
Mm-hmm. And he's like a weird outsider because he believes in ghosts and stuff.
Yeah,
I dig that.
But I mean, yeah, but they all come together and they tried to defeat the Hatbox Ghost. Crump, played by Jared Leto. And along their way, they meet Madame Leota, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and a bunch of friendlier ghosts that come in and help them to defeat the Hatbox.
Wow, this sounds lame.
It is. I think it's a lame story. But like in between this lame story, they have emotional beats.
Yeah,
that just don't work for me.
See, you say they don't work for you. I found it very wholesome, even if they weren't like super in depth or like, crazy emotional.
They don't like. It is very much baseline. Like,
this movie is very safe.
It's very safe. It's very borderline.
It's
Here's the emotional beats that we can play. And it's revealed that Lakeith Stanfield, his wife, has passed.
Mm-hmm.
And the main point of the story that I look and I go, that just doesn't work, is when he's telling the story. of his wife's death. He's like, she went out, I was working, and she went out and got tater tots, and she got in a car crash, and she knows that she died knowing that I didn't love her. And it's like,
Bruh.
it's this actual, like, it genuinely
There's
was
nothing
like,
to suggest that they had like a strained relationship or something.
yeah, there's
where
nothing.
He might actually think that.
Exactly. But then it's like that actually kind of could work.
I think his acting was good in that.
His
scene.
acting was really good in that scene.
He sold
but-
it as best he could.
Exactly. And that's what's so disheartening to it, though, is when literally not even 5 seconds, they don't even let the audience marinate in that for 5 seconds until Danny DeVito comes in with a fucking joke.
That was like the funniest joke in the movie. Almost, it was one of the better ones.
It is
the cholesterol on this woman.
Yeah, but
It's like the tater tots would have killed her if she ate them.
But like at the same time, it's like this emotional beat, and it just didn't, because it's like, I get you have to have like the light, it plays it safe, but like there could have actually been a very emotional scene.
Yeah, they mentioned like ghost winks, which is like basically something that seems like more than just a coincidence that reminds you of someone who's passed.
Yes.
Like the example in the movie, Tiffany Haddish's dad really liked model trains, and then every time she hears like a train like out of the blue when she's feeling down, she's like, "Oh, that's my dad saying hi."
Like,
and that's really nice. That's
that is
really
really
wholesome,
nice.
and like could be really emotional, but like the movie doesn't sell it enough for me.
Yeah,
It
I
would be
think-
really wholesome though.
I'll say this. The thing that reminded me of, so at the end of the movie, this is going kind of at the end, he gets a ghost, quote unquote, ghost wink
Yeah.
from his wife, because the cat
And then-
that's been at
and
his
then
door.
he's like, "Oh," and he
Yeah.
looks up to the sky.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
little cheesy.
Yeah. But there's a cat named Tater Tot, and it's like, oh,
Oh, that connects
But,
to the
like,
story.
the only reason why I remember, so this is where I kind of get even a little bit more pissed, is that the only reason why I remember that Tater Tot would have been a ghost wink is because of that fucking joke that Danny DeVito makes. And it's like it felt very gross to me, of like,
Gross.
yeah.
Like you're cheapening people who have like actual traumatic stories. or something.
not that. It's the emotional beat of like that Tater Tot thing. It just feels gross because it's like, oh, it's because of a joke about a dead
that
character.
You remembered it?
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
how,
that was like his monologue in the middle of the movie or whatever.
yeah, but like, even if it could have been like, there would even been like a scene beforehand or something. Like, they even do it. I think it's Owen Wilson's eating something, and he says, "Look, it's a ghost wink. It's a
And he's like-
tater tot."
He's like, actually, those are jalapeno poppers.
He's like, "Yeah, those are actually jalapeno peppers." It would have been nice if that kind of like was spread out through, like, spread throughout.
Well, they tried it with that.
yeah, but I feel like there should have been like one or two more.
Sean
And-
can't be pleased with
No,
Disney's haunted
I
mansion. The
It's-
emotional beats didn't work for him.
it just didn't. Because it felt like
They tried, and I think they just kind of fell flat.
it fell flat. And I
little
think
bit.
like this a very emotional scene that I thought was a very, like, I was like sitting there and I'm like, wow, this is going to be very emotional. It's like, and then it's
There's-
undertoned by Danny DeVito in the background going, "This cholesterol." It's like,
there definitely was an opportunity to do something really special, I think, because like the
Well,
whole
like-
setting of New Orleans, where like
exactly.
dying is not the end. There's more to
Yeah.
the afterlife.
Well, like,
and that's
even-
very ingrained in like New Orleans culture,
Exactly. And there's also the relationship between Rosario Dawson, her son, and Lakeith. And that I thought was a way better storyline. That was there was way better emotional beats, especially when, so in the movie it's we're just skipping all over the place, but Crumb needs 1,000 souls to become powerful again.
And conveniently, he's one short.
He's one short. Oh no. And he needs someone willing to,
Give up their soul.
and it would be like someone that's in grief.
Someone
and
who's
it's-
vulnerable.
yeah.
So you're
So,
led to believe it's
Lakeith, but it's
Stanfield.
actually not. It's the kid because his dad has died, and that's why they moved to New Orleans. And like that actually was like a genuine like moment.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's actually really good. Like him basically telling him, "Your dad, he loved you," and like that's a good emotional beat.
Mhm.
But like I'll put it to you this way. What if that was underlined by like Danny DeVito in the background coming down going, "Oh, wait, his dad's not dead? I thought he was," it's like that's
what are you saying? That didn't happen though.
Exactly. But I'm like what I'm saying is that those two are very on par. Those two emotional scenes are on par with each other, but one just doesn't work for me because that joke.
And there was only like 2 or 3 scenes like that.
Exactly.
So I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
I get it.
That to me was like the whole story thing and like just kind of throwing.
One thing that really bothered me was all the name dropping of like product placement. Oh, I got this pen and paper from CVS.
Yeah, I remember that. There was the Burger King just like out of the blue.
I found this house on Zillow.
Yeah, the Zillow name drop was really funny too.
So that that definitely you have stuff like that in the movie.
Can somebody go through Haunted Mansion when it comes out on like Disney Plus and compile a list?
I mean, there's at least 7 or 8.
Yeah,
there's at least 7
because there's CVS, there's Burger King, there's Zillow.
Yeah.
There has to be something else that's just like hitting us in the face.
Yeah. I mean, it's really takes you out when they say stuff like that. It's really annoying. And then like you're trying to balance
for a movie
product placement
for a movie with ghosts.
And then
the thing that stands out is the product placement.
Yeah, and then also you're trying to have like emotional moments.
Yeah,
and it's like okay, and then brought to you by Burger King. And it's like okay, okay, Disney.
All right,
thanks.
Okay,
thanks for that.
Yeah, but but that's like not my only thing is like another thing was the camera movement. There's one weird scene that we were talking about this earlier.
I don't remember that scene at all.
I remember it vividly. So there's a scene where she's giving Lakeith a tour of the house, and she goes, "In this, I just feel 2 sharp pains in my side," and it's like where the dueling ghosts are.
Yeah.
So like so this was Rosario Dawson's character, like jumps over the hallway, and they do this weird camera movement where it's almost like Office-esque, where it's like zoomed out, and then when she lands, it's zoomed in. It like zooms in on her. It felt like an episode of like The Office or Succession. Where
I didn't notice that at all, to be honest.
And that's like the only time it happens.
Yeah.
So like I was just very taken out of it.
Pretty stock with the camera stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. They definitely try to do some crazy shifting hallways and twisting around the mansion.
Well, like I also like the Dutch angles that were in there.
But they don't do it that much though.
Exactly.
It's like for a Haunted Mansion movie, you'd expect a little bit more.
Yeah.
That.
Well, I was expecting it to be a little more scary because that's like it's PG-13.
Yeah, it was not.
It wasn't that
nothing scary here.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be because the ghost didn't look.
I mean,
that great.
The CGI looked cartoony, but I feel like that was a deliberate choice.
Yeah,
and that works. That's fine. It's a kids movie. A little cartoony CGI works for me.
Oh yeah,
but because a good comparison would be the earlier Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Which
I have not
seen. But I would have to imagine there's quite a bit more like practical stuff in there thrown in. Because there's parts of this newer Haunted Mansion movie where the mansion itself is just all CGI.
Yeah.
And you can tell. They try to do some crazy things like, you go into some of the portraits on the wall. Like the one that's a fisherman captain.
Yeah.
And like the sea comes out of it. It's like, okay, you're close to being onto something there, But the CGI, sometimes the whole set is CGI and it just
it just doesn't work. It doesn't look like.
I mean, there's probably not a ton of practical. I just feel like there's probably
more.
So
it says that there's a lot of they did prosthetic makeup.
Yeah, there's no makeup work done really here.
Yeah, it's just all kind of
the ghosts
CGI.
are just kind of not actually there. Like real life, because ghosts aren't real, but you know what I mean.
Dang. Yeah. But even then, this is it. Actually, the new one is rated better than the old one because that's sitting at a 14, and this new one is sitting at a 42.
So wow, that's a big jump up.
Yeah.
I've never seen the original. I don't remember anyone saying it was good or anything.
Yeah.
This new one, it definitely has some bones where it could have been really good.
Yeah.
I think.
I would agree.
The ending is kind of not that exciting because it's a big CGI ghosts fighting each other. Ooh.
Well, yeah, that's one of the bigger ones, and then also like, just going back to the characters, the weird cameos they had, like Winona Ryder showing up, and Dan Levy and Hassan.
I didn't mind Winona Ryder because she's
they all show up.
She was like a
less
ghost
than
tour.
a scene.
She was like a ghost tour lead, and then like Lakeith is like, "Is that the actual artifact from Crump?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "No."
Yeah.
It's like, "Would you like to
But
lead
it's
the
like
tour?"
it's just like glorified cameos,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know, that just kind of like made me a little bit upset. But anyways,
what was the other one with the cartoon, like the sketch artist?
Hassan Minhaj, I think is
Minhaj.
Minhaj. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like, would he really be the sketch artist for the New Orleans Police Department? I don't know.
Yeah, well, like he's only in it for a scene, and that scene's in the trailer.
Yes,
like I didn't need to see that scene in the trailer.
Way to.
Yeah.
That's like, we gotta sell this movie with the jokes in the trailer. It's like, okay.
Well, like, yeah. So those were just kind of big, like, for me. But you brought up the ending, and I thought about it. I'm like, I do not like the ending that much.
Yeah.
You brought up it's like a Marvel CGI fest.
You don't think Crump is gonna win?
Exactly. Well,
where's the threat level, Jared Leto?
To end this episode, to do something a little bit different than like, Disney Parked ranked or whatever. I wanted to give you an idea of how
what would that be? Pirates of the Caribbean and
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Haunted
There's
Mansion.
a lot. Jungle Cruise.
Oh, well,
Jungle Cruise is one. There's like a few that are the Disney Park ride movies
that were turned into movies.
Yeah. Jungle Cruise, The Country Bears.
Huh?
What? The Country Bears.
Never heard of it.
It's a movie.
That's a ride?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pirates of Tomorrowland.
Well, spoiler alert, I think Pirates of the Caribbean would win easily.
Well, yeah.
Out of all of those.
Space Mountain's getting a movie. Tower of Terror's getting a movie.
Well, they haven't been made yet.
Big Thunder Mountain's getting a movie.
Oh, okay.
Figment.
This is like
is getting a movie produced by Seth Rogen.
It's kind of like did you see that one thing that was like Mattel after the success of Barbie wants like a movie
I think we talked about that.
Like every property that they own.
Yeah. What the fuck?
What?
Supposedly there's a ride at Disneyland called Mission to Mars.
Sure, isn't that like John Carter?
There is a movie. No.
It's not related?
Okay. I don't think it's related, but there's a movie directed by Brian De Palma that it's based on.
Okay.
Which is so weird. Like, they got Brian De Palma to do that.
Oh, I see in your notes here how you would have ended the movie.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
All right, Sean, Mr.
I wanted
movie,
to give you a little...
I'm a better director than who directed this?
Who
directed
Justin Simeon. He directed a movie called Dear White People and a movie called Bad Hair. They look like they're both horror movies.
Okay.
Or Bad Hair's a horror movie. Dear White People is a romance drama.
Okay.
So
interesting.
But he did also write
just for prosperity. Who directed They Clone Tyrone? Just for reference.
Oh man, it's a first-time director. I know that much.
So that was a debut. Maybe they kind of gave Haunted Mansion to someone unknown.
And they gave
relatively.
Jules Taylor directed They Clone Tyrone.
Yeah.
Mainly not a director, but a writer. He wrote Space Jam,
Ooh,
A New Legacy.
That's not a good credit to have.
And Creed 2.
Okay, Creed 2.
So like
Space Jam, not a good credit.
Kind of like a 2-to-1 hit ratio.
It's kind of an interesting dynamic between those two different directors.
Yeah.
I'd say Jules Taylor did a little bit better.
I think he did. I think he did as well.
As far as first big exposure that's not connected to anything. Now, sometimes you have to do a movie like Haunted Mansion to get some.
Oh yeah, it's a one for them, one for me.
Yeah,
sort of thing, definitely. Because it looks like Justin Simeon, he doesn't have anything lined up, so.
Yeah, that was his audition, maybe.
Maybe he'll get another, but then again, he also didn't write this movie. He wrote his last two films, which their average ratings sit at.
Disney probably wouldn't let him. They're like, this is coming out of a corporate think tank.
His movie Bad Hair sits at a 3% average rating, and Dear White People sits at a 3.5. So those are
kind of average, but
better. One's better than average, one's average, and then Haunted Mansion's sitting at a 2.9. So this is all on Letterboxd.
I gave Haunted Mansion a 3 personally.
I would give it like a 2.5.
Dang.
But I,
because like I said, I like the wholesome elements in there.
Oh yeah, it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's very down the middle. I didn't despise it, but nor did I love it. So.
Yeah. So how would you have ended it?
So, okay. I want to just see if you would think this is a better ending. Pretty much everything leading up to Lakeith standing at that, him against Crump.
Yeah.
Or actually.
Oh, he's changing it on the fly.
Hold on. I'm trying to think if I want to go that way.
This is a new segment called In the Director's Chair.
In the Director's Chair, yeah. So when he's facing off against Crump,
Crump actually his head's in a box. Kind of funny.
Oh my god. Crump actually wins and gets Lakeith's soul.
Dang. Okay. What would that accomplish?
But so first and foremost, we get Jared Leto, and he comes back. He's like a full person then.
Yeah, they kind of did that. I mean, his head was back on his body.
Yes, but I think it's full on Jared Leto. So we get Jared Leto on set.
With some makeup instead of CGI, maybe.
Well, no, I think it would go back to his youth. Because
they probably just paid him to do voiceover, and that's why he's just with Jared Leto.
But I'm saying,
yeah,
if we get Jared Leto in there, it's some star power. It's some more star power. But
negative star power.
Jared Leto's not bad. He's an Oscar winner.
I'm kidding.
He's an Oscar winner. But because Madame Leota still stays the same age. So I'm just saying we go back. Basically, he wins. Crump wins. But when Lakeith is soul, he actually finds his wife's soul.
Unlike Gracie.
Gracie?
The one ghost, the main ghost.
Oh, searching for some reason I thought you were talking
about integral plot point. Why did you forget that? Oh my god!
I thought you were talking about a girl in the movie named Gracie, and I went, I don't remember.
It was his last name. Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry to.
But anyways, Lakeith finds his wife, and I think it would have even been better if in the beginning, or during his story, they were talking about having kids or something, and it adds in. Because he finds his wife's soul, and she's he basically apologizes to her, and she's like, I've always loved you.
Be a nice, more powerful emotional thing, maybe. Because they kind of dropped that because
exactly
her soul's in the beyond realm. You can't talk to her.
Exactly.
I like that, and I don't, because I feel like the whole thing with the ghost winks. That's the only way it goes.
But I think it would have had and my thing would be is that, he, basically what his wife does is that she sends him back to his body.
All right, sounds cheesy.
It's cheesy, but it's a Disney movie, and I think it works. It has better emotional beats. His wife sends his soul back to his body.
Okay.
And she takes the place of him in the for Crump.
Okay.
And so when he gets back, he's actually basically the ending where Crump is defeated happens again, but he's able to be defeated
for reasons
like magical reasons.
Well, they didn't really give much of a reason.
Exactly. So like it doesn't matter. But Crump is defeated, and the reason why like she sent him back is to take care of the
Rosario Dawson's
son.
And
so
kid.
it's like she could have been like, I can't give you kids anymore, but there is one waiting for you right there, because it's kind of built up in the plot that he's like a father figure to this kid.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been a better emotional beat for
something like that ties back into his grief a little bit more than him just saying a line.
Exactly. That's what I think it would have been better. And like that kind of plays into like
they didn't flesh out Crump as a character much either. He's just evil.
Exactly.
You don't know anything about him other than he's evil and he murdered like 939 people or 999 people. That's kind of a lot of people to murder. Like that's what is that? That's a high rate.
I was thinking about
a clip right there. You know, like that's like 3 people a day or something.
Yeah.
Like, man.
But anyways, I think that would have been a way better, at least somewhat better of an ending. So that's how I.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just Owen Wilson's like, wow, there's some ghosts around here.
Wow.
So like, ghosts, don't you want to be a hero? Like, instead of being spooky, wouldn't you rather help us?
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And like,
I actually
we could have gotten rid of like how he comes back is through Madame Leota, how she came back.
I don't remember.
From the ghost. Anyways, okay. I think that's enough of.
Well, I will say I think I was in a really good mood watching this movie, and that helps a lot because every time Owen Wilson or Danny DeVito were on screen, I just kind of felt like I wanted to laugh before they even said anything. Maybe they just look funny to me. I don't know. I was in a good mood.
Fair.
Someone behind us was having a great time.
Yeah, shout out to them.
They were having a blast.
Fun. I think
every joke they laughed at. I will say the one that actually I liked was when there's like, oh, there's a hidden doorway behind this painting, and then Owen Wilson's like, I got this. And he pulls down the
and it slowly comes off
the lantern and it just breaks off the wall.
That was actually pretty good. That was
sorry.
Yeah,
I actually like that one. I had seen that one when I was walking around before we saw the movie, so like I didn't, I already saw it once.
Yeah,
but I thought.
But with context,
funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that one.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much for Haunted Mansion.
So that movie is a good time, kind of wholesome.
Yeah.
They Clone Tyrone is a good time. Maybe not wholesome because it's kind of
I would say watch
a darker subject matter.
Yeah, I'd say watch They Clone Tyrone before you watch Haunted Mansion.
If you're going to watch either, watch
If you only had to watch one, watch They Clone Tyrone. I think it's a better film. But yeah. What do we think that's it for us? Right?
Yep, bye.
End
it right there.
No. Yeah, next week. What we were gonna do.
Is there a certain movie about
turtles
that
are ninjas?
Something like
teenagers?
What's the name of it?
What is there?
I don't remember. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was expecting you to say. I was expecting you to be like, before the age of 20.
What?
I don't know.
Well, the
preteen.
The teenagers are integral
to
the
Ninja
turtleness.
Mutant Teenage Turtles.
Anyway, that movie comes out next week.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem comes out. We will be covering that next week.
Excited for it.
I'm excited for it. It's
got
getting
that
good reviews.
Spider-Verse style to it.
It's getting good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for it. We'll try to get a guest for that. We say that
we're
every
0 for
episode.
3 so
we
far.
really are, but
we'll get there.
We'll get there. If we keep saying it, it will happen.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
So come back next week when we talk about TMNT Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Letterboxd, or you can find me on Letterboxd at _filmworker_. Where can they find you, Trevor?
On Letterboxd at Trevzilla.
Yeah.
Still working on like some accounts that you can follow me on.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you on that.
We'll add
if
'em.
you want to. I'm gonna start promoting more, Sean. I promise.
You can follow this. You can follow this podcast on YouTube at After the Credits. We show that we put the podcast up on YouTube there, and then we put the podcast up on Spotify. At not after the credits, the Fine Cut.
Yeah.
So,
did you want to briefly mention that we might have more than one show at some point?
yes. So right now we are working on another show.
Where you can hear us talk more.
Yes, we're not. It's gonna be another movie show, but it's going to be more of a kind of single film analysis and talk.
And not necessarily
more recent films. It's not going to be more recent films. I think
not new releases.
I'm not going to announce the show title yet.
Work in progress.
It's set. We've set it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I will announce the first episode, what we'll be covering.
Sure.
And it's your pick.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? We'll announce the first 2 episodes. So it's kind of a person pick type podcast.
Eloquently put.
Yes. So basically what will happen is Trevor gets to pick a movie, and then I'll pick a movie, and then we'll have guests on, and they will get to pick a movie that we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor, what was your first pick?
So my pick, it's a movie I might have referenced once. My pick will be The Thing, directed by John Carpenter, released in 1982. Great sci-fi horror classic.
I just watched it the other day, and I'm going to agree that it's a good movie. I'm going to keep a lot of the stuff for the pod.
It's my favorite movie.
But my pick, which will be episode 2, is going to be the 2008 film Speed Racer, directed by the Wachowskis.
He's going to make me watch Speed Racer.
Speed Racer is amazing. So watch out for that. That should be coming up here soon. Hopefully we'll get it out.
Yeah, if you're a fan of this show, then you'll enjoy that one too.
Yes. So, yeah, watch out for that. That'll be posted on the YouTube channel. I know I'll probably get another Spotify link for that on Spotify. But, yeah, thanks so much for listening to this episode. Check us out next week when we talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, full title.
Yeah.
Get that in there.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.